is Chelsea Lyons Kent, and I am here in Standing Rock, North Dakota still. I've been here for 3 months now.
We have shown there is still power for the people, and that when people come together, they can still make changes. So I will be leaving Standing Rock tomorrow. I will never be the same after coming to this place. I will never, ever be the same after coming to this place. I do not know how I can ever go back to just working and ignoring all of this. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I don't know how to go back to living in my box. I don't know how to go back to paying rent and using banks and, here in Standing Rock, we've had no money transactions. No money. It's just giving and sharing and, being part of community, which is the way that things are supposed to be. This is how we were designed to live, was to be around each other and to help each other. And I have realized just how insignificant my little concrete box of an apartment is, or my car, or my paychecks. It's all so unbelievably insignificant. Unbelievably insignificant. I'm not going to apologize for leaving here at this time. This is the time that I have to leave. I have to leave. I have to go back to my life. I have to go back to my children. I'm not going to apologize for leaving. I want to apologize to everyone who never made it out here, because while I'm going to miss everyone who I met here and fell in love with here, my biggest apologies are to all of you who never made it to Standing Rock, because this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This was a life-changing experience that no one will ever be able to replicate or duplicate. This is the epitome of what life should look like, and I think that we'll see a lot more Standing Rocks. I think we've already seen a lot more camps pop up. We have camps in New York, Utah, Pennsylvania, Texas, but there will never be another Standing Rock. There will never be another Standing Rock. There will never be another fall in 2016 in Standing Rock. And we wrote the playbook here. We're writing the playbook here because when people got here, we had never done anything like this before. We had never seen so many tribes come together. We had never seen so many different nations come together, and then the environmental groups come together, and to build and occupy space against the American government, to stand in the face of the American government who is built on corporate greed and bullshit. We are writing the playbook. There was a million mistakes here, but we are writing the playbook for the future. This is ground zero for the fight against corporate greed and for the fight to unify different nations and different colors of people. And we'll never have another Standing Rock, but we're going to have 1,000 other Standing Rocks. And we are writing the playbook about how we're going to win again. We have already figured out that we will not win through elections. We will not win through democratic processes, because we live in America. We live in the United States of America. We don't live in a democracy. We don't live in a democracy. We haven't lived in a democracy in a long, long time. We are not going to fix our nation through votes. We are not going to fix our nation through politicians. We are not going to fix our nation through bullshit campaigns. We are going to fix our nation through coming together and standing up together in the face of injustice. And that is what we did here. That is what we did here, and we are winning. We are winning. And sometimes there were days we didn't know if we would win and we didn't know if we wouldn't. And we did it anyways. And We broke apart from the system. We moved on to sovereign land. We stopped giving them our money. We stopped giving them our resources. And we told them that we see what's happening. And it worked. It worked. And we're going to do it again and again and again. And there we have a million things that we need to fix at this point. Our planet is dying in front of our eyes. It's dying in front of our eyes, in front of our children's futures are dying in front of our eyes. And here we stood up to fight back against that, and it has worked. So we will not just restore democracy through our presidential candidates. As much as I love Bernie Sanders, we proved that wasn't going to work. So the only thing that is going to work now is continuing to do things like we did here and figure out what the next fight is. I will never be the same after this. I will never be the same after this. I will never, ever be able to go back to my 9-to-5 job in my stupid apartment where I have to pay electricity and live in the way that colonialism has designed for me. And as a white female, I knew nothing about colonialism until this experience. I came here to fight for the water of 18 million people, had no idea that I was going to get schooled on colonialism and just how many different ways that we need to change, that it goes so far beyond pipelines. It goes through the pipelines, through the banks. It's everything. It's everything. We can no longer continue to live like this because we as a colonialist people have decided that our comfort levels are more important than the planet or even our just very own survival. We are willing to give up our very own survival just to keep our small bits of comfort, like cars and McDonald's and grocery stores. Guess what, guys? We can grow food. We can grow food. And there are ways to live that we don't have to do this. I've lived in a tent for 3 months. While I would not recommend living outside in a North Dakota winter, there are so many ways that I've learned through this process to build communities that are not a slave to their system, Why, we're living in army tents that are heated, and yet we have thousands upon thousands of homeless people in this country. Why don't we have army tents out? Why are we not putting up places for them? It's so easy. It is so easy to adapt to a way of living that is sustainable, but yet we still choose not to. So I have spent 3 months learning that it is entirely possible to live off the land, because guess what? The land provides everything we could possibly need to survive. It has, the whole time. That's how we got here. The Industrial Revolution was what? How long ago? Not that fucking long ago. But we've been here for thousands of years, figuring this out and living in communities that help each other as just in my own personal view, as a parent, I've never lived in a community that very much helped each other. I can't go to my neighbors and be like, hey, can you watch my kids for a minute? No, that's not a thing you do in America. But at Ocheti-Sakoan, that is a thing that you do. You go by, you talk to your people, and if you need something, you get it, because that's what communities do. So I don't know what I'm going to do after this, but I will never, ever go back to the way that things were before. I am not the same as I was before, and it is time to incorporate all of the lessons that we learned here, not only into other camps, but into our own personal lives, because we can live this way. We can go off the grid. We can stop being a part of the system as long as we are living in our little box apartments and going to our grocery stores and paying our electric bills and putting gas in our cars and keeping our heaters on, even though we've had fire for, I don't know, forever, that we are still part of that system. We are still paying into that system. We are still making that system possible. And I am not going to continue to make that system possible. It is our duty as a people to fight for the life of our planet and the lives of the people around us. And that requires breaking away from the system, not paying into the system, because the only reason that this system is able to continue is because it is profitable. It is profitable to be an electric company. It's profitable to be a gas company. It's profitable to be Walmart. Walmart is profitable. The only way that we fight against these systems is making them not profitable anymore. How we spend our money is the only power that we have. Coming together and fighting against them and breaking away from their systems is our greatest power. So while I am leaving Standing Rock, I am not going back to the way that things were before. Never going back to the way that things were before. I will never take a job at a corporation. I will never take a paycheck from a corporation. I am going to continue. I'm going to continue on a way that my heart says is okay. If I get a job where I get to do things like this and be an activist or be a reporter or, give back to my community, wonderful. Otherwise, no thank you. No thank you. I have figured out it's possible to live in a tent in North Dakota. And I would rather do that than ever go back to being a part of their bullshit system and the bullshit lies that they tell us. So that is what I've learned from Standing Rock. That is the message that I will continue to preach for the rest of my life, is that we don't have to be a part of this system. The system is there. That doesn't mean you have to buy into it. It is time to break away from that system and find new ways of living, find new communities. We can have communities all over this country. We can have Standing Rocks all over this country, anywhere. We do not have to live the way that they tell us to live because they tell us that we need the things that they're giving us. We don't. We don't. As far as I'm concerned, I want to go to Iowa. I want to go to Texas. I want to go to New York. I want to go to Pennsylvania. I want to continue to go to camps like this. I want to continue to fight for a climate revolution because we have already done enough to our planet, and it is time to start fighting back and making it possible for my children to have children 20 years from now. Standing Rock is coming right home with me, and nothing will ever be the same. And we'll be in D.C. for inauguration, and we're going to continue to fight back, not just against pipelines, but against the system, the corrupt system that has created this way of living for us that makes it impossible for us to live another way. And that's why people keep telling me, oh, well, you're going to need oil to fly home. Well, it's well, yeah, I do, because you guys created a system that makes it impossible not to. Today, we win against DAPL. Tomorrow, we win against the entire system. Thank you all for all the support that you have offered while I have been here. Thank you guys, and I will see you later. Bye. Aloha.